That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing right now. Yeah. Because I have a jerk neighbor and they call. Yeah. Because I have this beautiful film sitting in my backyard. And we've got 40 some trees. And stop sign. I mean, I'm not talking, it's not a tree, it's tree. So I'm like, I'm kidding jerks.
I don't think you look careful. I think it ever has.
I don't think so either. It is packed at night. So I imagine now every home how many trees are outside. This is a like a station. Yeah. So then like they don't have to. So then you have to go over it. No. Explain what we did. And swimming pools don't have 14 walls.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to go ahead and call this zoning board of appeals meeting to order, please. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. All right, moving forward, do we have anybody up on the panel here that sees any conflicts of interest here for these two items? All right,
I live around the corner from number 2, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. All right. Very good. We'll keep on moving. So let's see here. Item number 4, approval of the Board of Appeals minutes from May 18th, 2022 meeting. Do you hear any discussion on that? Any changes?
Like to make a motion to approve?
All right, motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. All right. Item number 5 on the list here, we have a variance application by Edward Prochek. He's requesting to attach an existing 12-foot by 4, is that right? 12 foot by 4 inch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, 12 foot by 4 inch by 18 foot 4 inch, there we go. 1-car garage to the existing dwelling. The existing garage would also be raised 16 inches by adding 2 courses of 8-inch cement block between the bottom of the wood wall and existing foundation. The creation of an attached garage will not meet the required setback requirements located at 1230 South 13th Street. Mr. Prochek, if you'd like to step up to the podium, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody.
How are you?
Great, thank you.
Okay. Yep. All right, sir. Yeah, go ahead and let us know what you're looking at trying to do.
Well, what happened originally was it was looking to attach the house in the garage, in like a breezeway. In discussing that process, it was brought forward that we would not be able to do so as an actual attachment. It would have to be somewhat of a floating system where there would be posts on each end, and it would be like, I believe, a rubber membrane. I hope I'm describing this properly. That would actually be together with between the covered breezeway and the garage. The garage and the breezeway would not be actually anchored together, whereas the house and the breezeway would be, I believe. That's because of an existing foundation and just wondering about a foundation availability. So that had already been more or less talked about and could have been probably done in the beginning, just a single separate process when talking with the Pat Irick and Tim Rakin, who was the contractor. It started out, we were going to just remove the concrete between that's in the area of some of the pictures I hopefully had a chance to see, like between the house and the garage. And then we were going to, Tim was going to put that wood floor in there and then cover it and put it in. And then we discussed and made sure, we thought concrete would be better, so we changed that, and made another set of plans through Ed at Oostburg Lumber with that. And as that evolved, then I talked to Tim a little bit about bringing the garage out, because it's a Mustang. What's stored in there right now is a Mustang, and it just fits. In fact, the mirrors already have hit the door a couple of times going in. It's very tight, and the whole project would also hopefully make the door a standard size, the overhead door, which right now it's one of those smaller sizes. And then what we would do is then it evolved to the point, talking with Tim, is that if the neighbor would allow it, and that's what we were concerned about, and she has verbally told me that it would be okay to bring the garage forward 2 feet, and then makes it longer. And then she said she'd have no problems if it would come about with the two-course raising of it either. Now, the reason that all came about was in talking with Scott Davis came over and looked at concrete to look at the concrete work, and he looked at the garage floor, and we thought the garage floor should be replaced. And I said, well, what about the driveway? Then you're here, replace the driveway. And it just slowly evolved to the point of saying, okay, if we're going to look at all this, why don't you just look at the whole project and come to the Board of Appeals to see if it could be worked out to be done. Which aesthetically, Ed came over from Oostburg Lumber, and he's one of the ones that thought really with the front being, with the garage being raised, and that would be more aesthetic and more better to have doors rather than varying size doors and things like that, and heights to connect them and have everything basically all one height. And so he's, between the three gentlemen, that's who evolved the drawings. And basically, I don't know, Tim was going to be here today, but I think the nice weather kind of kept him at work. And Scott Davis basically said, hey, tell me what I got to do and I'll bid on it. I'll give you a quote. But like I said, I don't believe the garage is actually going to be anchored to the breezeway. I think it's going to be like a floating type thing that would be, so it's not anchored, so that because of foundation considerations there. But it still would probably fall into whatever you're discussing here. I don't know how that all works out. Hopefully, if there are any questions, I hope I haven't muddied it up too much trying to explain how it evolved from something sounding rather simple to something saying, hey, if you're going to do it right, or at least try to do it right, apply for it. If we can't, we will then, of course, to be honest, we would try to figure out what we could do, and with your guidance at that point. But it seems like this would be the best scenario for all involved. Neighborhood looks better, house looks better, and I have a more efficient operation of putting the car in the garage. And also what happens is it also makes sure that my garbage bins are in the garage, my snow blowers in the garage, because right now that's stored out between the house and the garage, which kind of like city inspector was kind of like, Pat was like, whoa. I said, I got no place to go with it. So they're kind of like hidden somewhat behind a small shed, which probably would go, I'm sure it would go, if this all was encompassed, because then I would have the area to put the snow blower in the garage. I'd be able to put the garbage bins in the garage, and probably the only thing you'd see outside would be something like a grill, that would probably not want to be stored inside a garage. So other than that, basically it offers more storage, and it also makes the whole situation better. So are there any questions that I can help you with? I would be loving to try.
Yep, Steve.
Hey, Ed, you mentioned something about increasing the dimension or moving things 2 feet. You're not doing anything additional to the garage itself, are you?
That I think is what's in the plan that Ed drew up. I think that actually takes the garage itself, if it is 12 feet, would actually become 14 feet long.
And is that going to, what direction is it?
That would be going south.
So down the driveway?
Right,
Like closer to the street?
Right, not, the garage, the dimensions of the garage would stay, the lot line would stay the same as they are to the west, the north, and the east, basically, because the walls wouldn't move. It would be just to the south, that would come down, that would move.
And what is that dimension to the west?
To the west, as far as,
To the house, the garage, to the house next
How
door?
big is that?
that, I believe I measured it out, I don't know if I included that in the notes that I sent, and I don't know if I brought a copy of them along, but it is small. It's like, well, I'm gonna say 5 feet or less, just
Okay.
top of my head.
Yeah, I'd say a lot less than 5 feet. There's
Yeah,
really
I'm
not
gonna
5
say-
feet between your building and the other house.
Yeah, yep.
So I don't know what that, so,
So are you taking the existing garage down and building a brand new one?
No.
You're not?
No.
Okay.
The whole garage stays basically, except for the south wall probably would
It's gonna come
would come forward.
Okay.
But the other 3 walls would stay up. They would be repaired, raised and repaired and sided.
To match your house?
Right,
As well as the breezeway?
correct.
This is sunken.
so what are we looking at here, Ed?
On this?
That is a stake in the corner of the lot on 13th in Alabama. That's one of the land surveys were done. It's the only stake I could find. And so I
So
just
that's
took a
not,
picture.
but that's not by the garage section. This
No,
is-
that's out by the corner of 13th in Alabama.
Okay, all right.
So it's not the garage. That was to give
I mean,
a
the fact
proximity
that
of
this is not
where the lot
changing.
line was with
And
the
it's
city
just
right
gonna
away.
garage
That if you look straight down,
forward.
then you'd see that
Is-
that's the stake,
I mean,
so,
right.
and you can look straight down and say that that's where the lot line actually is. I guess that would be what it would be saying by that, if you surveyed.
The only other comment, if the board does end up approving this, one of the things that I think we'd want to condition is that if, for example, they get into the project and all of a sudden figure out that the garage needs to be removed in order to do this, that this would need to come back with a new application for the new structure, not as though they can go wipe out the structure, start everything new and come back. This is all talking about attaching and adding a small addition. So, if they're talking about a brand new garage, what we're talking about is another variance. So that should be a condition that if they get into this and the garage is demoed, and then they would need to come back.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Yes, sir.
I'll move that the project be approved with the condition that Steve just outlined.
Okay, so before we do that,
Second.
I'm sorry? Okay, all right, well, we have a motion to approve and we have a second, and do we have any other discussion?
I do have a
Yes.
question.
Yeah.
Could you just verify that there is or is not a step as you come out of your garage walking, going south, and then to turn to the east and go to your house? Is there a step there, or is that the concrete settled?
That, the way it's constructed right now, there actually is the concrete from the house to the, actually, I would say to the garage and the driveway. Yes, there is a step. That is going to be lowered and level to the driveway, height, so that they're level. That's part of the problem, because that concrete actually, I thought, I was not, using what Scott Davis said, I thought the concrete was sinking. He said, no, that's actually sliding away. He said, because it's got to be replaced. It's got to be taken out. So that slab, which is a step, would come out, and the driveway and the house then it would be level, that step.
Okay. So when you're going to take out that big slab that's right next to the house,
Correct.
replace that, lower it, bring the south side of the garage forward or to the south 2 more feet, and then all of that concrete will be redone in the driveway?
That is the intent at this point. I hope that doesn't put me way over budget, but the intent is to actually replace the garage floor and the driveway. And then the driveway also, there's a slight spot by the sidewalk where the sidewalk dips by the water pipe. We're gonna take care of that right away at the same time, so that water pipe can be more underground, so. Hopefully that's the plan anyway, because I'm actually planning to install off of that, when that all gets lowered, then I've got, the plan is, and most of the work is done already, to have central air put in the lower unit. The upper unit is done already, but the lower unit where I live, upper unit's vacant actually, but where I live in the lower unit, I don't have central air, the upper unit does, so I'm using a window air conditioner there. So that's where the air conditioner will go in that little alcove that's there when that's all reconcreted.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yep.
Yeah, the application before you is just the garage and the carport. The driveway isn't part of it. However, if they would choose to do a driveway, if a driveway is already in a certain location, you can repair in the same existing location. So if, for example, he elected not to do the driveway, obviously we'd like to see that done, but if he didn't have the opportunity now, that's not part of this, but he could come back at a later date and just request a permit just to redo the driveway.
Okay, thank you.
Obviously, we'd like to see that get done if at all possible, but that's not part of the request.
And thank you for that clarification, so that I'm aware too that should we decide, and we are, that's my plan, is because
Yeah.
it makes the whole project, the whole house, the whole neighborhood, everything looks so much better to get rid of the pitted driveway and just do it right. That's the whole plan.
All right, very good. So we have a motion and a second with that additional provision that Ed comes in, if they tear this structure down, that they come back in and have a conversation with us at that
Understood.
point for a new structure. So we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you very much,
All right,
everybody.
thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
You too.
Thank you very much.
Item number 6, we have a variance application by Adam and Julia Schmitz. They're requesting to construct detached 24-foot by 36-foot garage with an 8-foot by 36-foot roof overhang, approximately 1,152 square feet. There is currently a 2-car garage attached to the dwelling. Note, there is no height provided by the owner. The maximum height allowed is 15 feet, located at 4141 South 15th Street. Adam and Julia, please step up. Let us know what we can do for you here today.
We bought the property 3 years ago. It was me and my wife and daughter. The family's grown. We have 4 kids now. We both have company vehicles that we get to take home on a regular basis. The property is over 2 acres, so there's a lot of grass. A lot of it's wooded. So we have a lot of equipment to make sure that we can maintain our yard to the standard that, I think everybody should. Lawnmowers, 4-wheeler, log splitter, all that kind of stuff, and just looking to get it all stored someplace, put it away, make sure it lasts a little bit longer because it's out of the weather. We have 4 little ones. Our oldest is 5. She's getting into, battery powered 4-wheelers and bikes and tricycles and wagons and all that kind of stuff. And, we all know the price of vehicles now. So if we can get some vehicles out of the weather in the cover, it just makes a little bit more sense. Our yard is a little bit different than a typical city lot. I think we certainly have the space, and we're on a dead end. I know that you mentioned under the 15 feet. I think that's fine. I'll be under that. I can put the sidewalls and whatever they are. I think the trusses end up being 5'8". So I would make sure that even in the end, I have some room to play with. Questions, concerns, I guess. It's just what we're looking to do. Have some more storage space, get some stuff out of the yard and just clean everything up, I guess, is the best way I can put it.
Okay, all right, thank you. Do we have any questions or comments? Steve?
Sure, I can go through a couple of things. So
Sure thing.
as everyone is aware, including the applicant, the maximum size garage in the city is 1,000 square feet. The applicants do have an attached two-car garage that's approximately 675 square feet. So one of the options that's available is to utilize the additional 325 square feet and attach the garage as far as what's available. They are proposing a garage that is 1,152 square feet. So totaling the two garages, that comes out to approximately 1,827 square feet, which is almost 2 times the amount that we allow. Even if they took off the patio, which you can kind of see on some of the drawings, it's still approximately about 864 square feet, so that'd be about 1,500 square feet. So this is something that is significantly above the applicant mentions. There's a larger lot, which is true. A lot
What's the
of
size of your house?
The house like 2,800 square feet.
Okay.
a lot of the homes next to it are, 2, 3-car garages max attached. They do have a little bit more yard in this area. They do have a couple of the building. I'm not sure on the site plan what the distance is that they're showing to that property line.
For the garage.
It just kind of shows just a general kind of plan showing it in this vicinity. I think with this type of structure, we want to push it off the, lot lines from the neighbors if this was something that's considered. A building appears taller than 15 feet based on the roof lines and things like that. And that's something that we did not, or wasn't requested. So applicants mentioned a couple of things about sidewalls and different things like that to make sure that it's 15. The design, they are using some aluminum materials to match it, but I don't understand. I guess they could explain a little bit more of the need for the patio. I guess because they're building it, they'd like to see it, but I'm not sure, how that fits in from a design perspective and things of that nature. So those are some of the comments. Staff has a hard time recommending approval of 2 garages and at the total of 1,800 square feet. So this is something that staff is not recommending and is objecting to. So the board can talk and I can answer any questions from the applicant as well or have the applicant address issues.
Yeah, and I don't think that we're set in stone on anything. We're very flexible. We're here to just, see what we can do. Outdoor space is a lot different than it used to be. We own a house on 7th Street. We put a small 12 by 12 overhang on it and we put a fan in it, can lights. It's been an enjoyable space. So that was the biggest deal here. Get the grill under there.
Sure.
Maybe you see some of these DIYs, maybe put a TV out there and some furniture, just some outdoor. We all know that kids these days are spending way too much time inside, tablets, all that stuff. Just a little bit of outdoor space for us. We have a couple trailers, maybe they don't go inside somewhere, but they're still covered, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, really, we have no space for anything, and we're thinking if I could put a table under there. We have a tiny patio on our current house, and either we're gonna make that bigger, or if we could have a space where we could put some trailers in there and maybe a little bit of, space we could hang out. That was kind of what we were thinking. Especially with 4 kids. We just need a lot of room for everything.
Right, and I know you mentioned about, getting off the lot line. I know, basically, we're here to see what we can do to make it work for everybody.
Sure.
We're not opposed to, kind of going back and forth and making sure that it not only makes sense for you guys, but hopefully for us as well.
Okay.
Okay, so currently, right now, when you pull up into your driveway, you're gonna look at this garage. Is that what? is that
Yes.
what
It would
it's
be
gonna
right at the end,
Yep.
yeah.
And then your existing garage is next,
It's
would be
attached.
the, like when you go through your driveway, the next thing you're gonna see, and then you'd see your house.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so when you go straight in the driveway, you'd have to take a left. There's a circle drive, and then after
And
the
then an
circle
actual
drive.
driveway.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
hard
from
to
the
see,
top.
I mean, our house is set back pretty far from the road.
Yeah, it's hard to.
And there's so many trees. It's really hard
And
to
it
get some
comes
decent
this way,
pictures.
and here's the,
That's all
where
right.
the, red, I'm sorry about that. Where the red dot is the house, and the garage is right in front of that, correct?
Yep, it's all.
So that's where the attached garage is, and their driveway, you know, obviously you see the street view here, comes in right about, so here are the two neighbors, to the south.
Yep.
So that driveway comes right about,
Yep.
approximately about right in this area.
Yes.
So when you look at that, you know, that's kind of,
So there's a fence back on this side.
On both
There's a
properties.
fence along the whole,
Yep.
both properties.
So they're not looking at your garage, cause they're
No.
looking at their fence.
both
is
have
what
fences.
You know, like, you don't wanna be an eyesore to the neighbors.
Right.
And we've talked to both of those neighbors.
And they
they're-
have no
they're completely-
issue.
No, they're completely fine with it.
I asked you a question, are you at the end of the road, and to the
Yeah.
north of you is the power lines?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And that house is kinda on an angle a little bit? So you bought that
No,
maybe 4 or 5 years ago?
opposite side of the street.
Oh, we're
Opposite
on
side.
the east
West
side of the street. We're on the east side.
The
On the
other
east side
neighbors
of the
are on
road.
the.
Yep.
So Don, look at the picture.
It's
So
hard to
they're on
see
the
this.
I see where it is,
side.
I know where that
Yeah.
is, I live out there.
Yeah, I know
It
you do.
doesn't bother anything at the end of the road there, that's a dead end.
and that's why they're here before you.
Yeah, we just have we have a lot of woods, you know, kids be driving there with the four-wheeler and,
Right. There's a trail through, and, you know, I know you mentioned the attached garage too, and it's great. We have 2 bigger vehicles to haul around, 6 of us at a time,
Sure.
so we put those in there, and there's not a lot of space left in that one, so.
Okay,
I guess I would be more concerned if their house was not big. But if they almost have a 3,000 square foot house, the garage would be half that size. A little bit more than half that size, if you count that little patio. But I guess I would have more of an issue if the garage is bigger than the house. You know what I mean? Where all of a sudden, everything you see is just garage.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's a mixed use in that neighborhood too. Some are in the city of Sheboygan, some are in the town of Wilson.
Right.
The town of Wilson people are not allowed to have a detached garage, where they are allowed.
Yep, the 2 houses to the south, one is city.
One
and
is-
One is town.
Yep.
So a couple of things, if the board's considering it, you know, I don't know what you think is a reasonable setback. You know, I think we'd want to have it at least 10 feet, you know, to give a little bit of space so it's not right on the fence line. I know you're mentioning that.
Yeah.
That's just some thoughts, you know, one of the things. And then the big thing is really going to be the garage height, you know, and whether or not, right now, there wasn't a variance requested, so we're looking at 15 feet, so that might, you know, limit some aspects to this, so, you know, that, they would have to meet that 15 foot.
and I think we kind of looked at the numbers and, I mean, we can make 15 feet work almost
Okay.
perfectly.
Well, the idea behind it is we don't want you building a pole barn all of a sudden.
Yes. Yeah.
That's really what it is. We want it to fit the neighborhood, but then also give you what you're looking
Yeah, and
for.
we want it to look
Yeah,
really nice.
without
We
it
want
being
Yeah, we want it
this
to match
big.
the house, you know.
Yeah.
That's one more thing.
yes.
And then, I think there's a couple of sheds on the site. One was right on the south property line, maybe where the garage is kind of shown on the site plan.
Yeah.
And then it looks like, I didn't, see but there's one on the site plan that's a little bit more interior to the yard. Are those going away then? Or what's the intent with those if you get this square footage?
So the one where the garage is going, that one would go for sure.
Yeah,
The other one, I guess it's.
you'd like to retain?
Yeah, it's
Right.
really
It's-
pretty nice shape. We just put a new roof on it.
Right, it has a concrete floor, it's like a barn style, there's some storage above.
Sounds good.
It's almost set in the woods.
Yeah.
Unless you're on the property, you can't see it. But yeah, there's a little one at the end of the road right now. It's just aluminum with a,
That one.
a wood
Sounds
floor,
good.
but that would be definitely gone.
So, if this is something you guys are considering, maybe whether it's a 10 to 20 foot setback from that south property line, that's up to you guys how much, and then you would at least wanna, include a condition to remove that existing shed where the garage is to be constructed. And that doesn't sound like an issue.
Nope,
No.
not at all, not at all.
We're ready to see that go.
Okay. Do we have any other discussion, questions? Do I hear a motion?
I would make a motion based on way it's presented, removing of the current existing shed and having at least a 10-foot setback from the property line. So there's, it'll look right.
And I'm
Minimum,
assuming,
like minimum, you can, if you want it to go right off the driveway, you can make it go right off the driveway. So then it'll just flow, you're not adding extra concrete. But, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't wanna put so much here and then vehicles get parked.
along,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that would be one of the things as far as, and you bring up a good point, I mean, that's something that we probably don't wanna see is additional pavement or, storage of anything between the shed and the fence.
Right.
Along
Yeah.
that property line.
Yeah, that's right.
We want everything inside covered.
And with your,
I understand that that's your intention. It's just someone who owns it after you.
right.
We have to take that into consideration. We'd hope you live there forever, but if you choose to sell, that, it can become a hazardous place sometimes.
Yep.
When you allow too much.
Is there any issue in terms of where that drive is? Obviously, that's I don't know what that distance is, probably 3-4 feet, I'm
It's
guessing.
pretty close to the lot line.
Is there
Is
any
it?
issue as far as curving that a little bit so that building isn't right on the, straight off there?
Right,
Okay.
I don't think so. I know
Okay.
that we just had, new power buried into the house, and they actually came to, would be the west, to give us enough space. There's a pole right in the corner of all three lots, and they brought it, the new power to the west, so we have some room to play there for sure.
It would look better if it was off the driveway instead of having it go.
Up to you guys in terms of, the SR5 minimum setback offset is 5 feet, or SR3 is 5 feet, right? That's typically the minimum. I can verify that real
Well,
quick.
accessory structure might be 3 feet, but for fire ratings, you'd have to be at least 5 feet away. Otherwise, you'd have to have a firewall.
Yep, which is 5/8 drywall, right? Yep.
Okay.
Yep, all the way up to the roof deck.
I just want to check, in that SR3, it's a little bit larger lots and stuff, so that one is, a minimum of 5. So that's a little different
And
than
that's okay?
SR3. So, that's what typically the minimum is. I was suggesting a little bit more, but that's up to you guys in terms of, as long as it's a minimum of 5, they're meeting
Then
the
that's fine.
requirements.
Yeah.
So I was just, in terms of the size of the garage and where it was. So if you guys there doesn't necessarily have to be a condition, it was just something staff was throwing out.
So scratch my condition. It can be 5 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it would be approved as presented.
Yes. I'm assuming you're gonna make it out of the same material of your existing house or matching close to
we want
it.
to-
Yep,
So it matches and
There
looks,
was a
yeah,
cut sheet.
I'll be perfectly
Oh,
honest,
okay.
it might not match today, but
sure.
the house is older, it needs new windows, it's cedar, I think we're gonna go to like an LP or, even a vinyl, but yes, that's.
It's all gonna match.
Yeah, we want people to drive by, we take pride in our home and what it looks like and what people think, so yes, we are gonna
Yeah.
do everything we can to
That's what we figured.
make sure it all ties
I think
together.
so this was the vinyl and the shingles that are
Yeah.
being proposed. I think there was some,
There
there's the
there,
shed.
okay.
Okay, there we go. So this would be kind of the area that
Yeah.
we're talking about
Sure.
in terms of that location.
Sure.
maybe that tree, I don't know,
Is
maybe it has
coming out?
to,
They all gotta come down.
And then I thought there was something of the house.
I took a picture of the house and
Oh, there, it's, yeah, they kind of put it there now. Yeah, okay.
There it is. So kind
Sure.
of a similar color shingled, so trying to match it up in terms of colors.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve
As presented.
as presented. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you guys,
Awesome.
appreciate
All
it.
right, thank you. Yes, have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Next meeting, July 10th.
Make a
I'm sorry,
motion
July 20th,
to-
2022. Excuse me. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make, motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, very good.
Pretty close to that.
Yeah, so as you look at that, just let me know what's up and what you're thinking, but definitely, like I said, don't rip them down before you.
I'll keep her standing until I figure out.
Well, yeah, and that's fine.